Basically, I approach fitness a little bit different than the traditional personal trainer. Because of my knowledge about hormones on a personal level, because of going through childbirth and just fighting with my own body afterwards, I decided that there had to be a better, more effective and efficient way to get in shape. And really, I wanted to harness the power of my hormones. And I know there's different, just from working with my own body, and also through my studies in college, I knew that there were big correlations between your hormone levels and what you could do physically. So I coupled all that information plus some of the psychology behind what happens in our brains when our hormones are out of whack, and coupled it all together and came up with a program that I called Hormone Timing. Hi. We have a couple seats in the back there, so we can set one more out for you. And everybody be sure to get the sign-in sheet at some point tonight. Keep on passing it around so that those that are late can get in on it. So basically, I wrote a book called Hormone Timing, and it's a fitness program that evolves around a woman's natural hormonal cycle. So basically coupling what's going on with your body on a month-to-month basis, so the ups and downs that every woman deals with every single month, and utilizing that information to help negate the bad effects and really capitalize on the good effects of those hormones, because hormones are good. So for those of us that have struggled with low hormone levels, like maybe some of the ladies past menopause and that need supplements, and even men that are a little older, the problems that can arise when you are lacking hormones. So we want to do things to keep those hormones at optimal levels through nutrition and diet and exercise. So basically what I do as a professional, I help people utilize nutrition strategies, workout strategies, supplementation strategies to help optimize their hormonal levels and help them transform their bodies. So really, I've had a huge success over the years. I'll just scroll down here and you can see some of the success stories of a few women. This lady, she had 3 children. She's a chiropractor actually up in Papillion, Nebraska. This is her at exactly the same weight. She weighs the same here as she does here. But she transformed her body through using my system, the hormone timing system. So basically changing muscle to fat, basically, or not changing muscle to fat, but exchanging her fat mass for muscle mass and leaning up and getting thinner. And she is actually competing this weekend in another figure contest, and this was several years back now. We have Brenda. She's a nurse practitioner, a friend of mine that's also from Nebraska. She's in Norfolk, Nebraska. And so I train these ladies actually just online. So everything's done virtually. I didn't even talk to them on the phone until we really got super intense. But this is a picture of her before and after, and she's actually still competing on stage. And so this photo is like 5 years old, but so she's still going after it. She's still, just the great thing about learning to work with your hormones and keeping in a good hormonal balance is that you can have long-term results. That's my point with saying, like, this is 5 years ago. She's still in this amazing shape. She's 5 years older. She just turned 45 now, and so it's amazing how many of these ladies just have really good results by learning how to work with their hormones. This is another chiropractor in Nebraska, so you have a lot of chiropractor friends that I get trained. This lady, she's actually 55 years old now. Here she is in her 30s, and this is what she looked like when she was 49. Okay, so she's still working out too, but she's actually in California. And she is it's amazing how, she can look her very best, when she's heading into her 50s. And I have a lot of other ladies too that are older. The general women that I work with, they have really high expectations. A lot of them want to compete in what's called figure competitions or bikini competitions. It's kind of a form of bodybuilding, a little bit to do with physique training, but really overall it's a very strong, healthy body, not emaciated, not skinny fat, but just very healthy, focused on building your natural muscle mass to shape up. And let's just see, here's Dale, here's Heather. She is another amazing story. She's just amazing how much these ladies change. This lady, she has 2 sets of twins. So she had twins, and then she had another set of twins, and so she's like holding her youngest 2 there, and she is from Canada. And here's, this one, she's a mother of triplets. And so she was like, oh, help me. And so anyway, she competed also. She's actually a psychologist. And here's Lisa. But that just gives you an idea of some of, there's Susan. She's actually an author now. She's writing books and selling them on Amazon and otherwise. But yeah, she has really transformed too. So, and this is another lady that's in her 50s now, and Teresa. So just to give you a little background of me, but what we're really going to focus on today is hormones. So let me go back to the main information that we want to cover here. All right. Okay, so why are hormones important, really? Hormones are important because they regulate everything in your body. All the processes that happen in your body are regulated by hormones. Hormones are the great regulators. So I don't know if any of you have watched the movie Young Guns. The regulators, so they're the ones that control everything. So the problem is as we go through life, hormone levels change. When would you guess, what age do you think your hormone levels were optimal? Do you think? Maybe 15?
30.
Oh, 30? That's a good one. I think 30 is pretty good. I would say right about 25 is where, youthful hormone is where you feel young, 25 to 35 probably range. That's really good. For women, maybe it's a little bit younger than for men, because for women, we often have children, and sometimes that throws our hormones completely out of whack, that whole process. So a lot of times women have, start struggling with their hormones even in their late 20s. Men, though, however, don't really seem to feel like, they're falling apart until they're in their 30s usually. So the big problem with hormone imbalance is that you have what I term hormone-induced failure. Okay, what would be some things that would be failure caused by hormones? Anybody? Like PMS issues, like you're all, you're crabby, you body hurts, you have a headache, you are tired as all get out. You don't know why, you're just so tired. You can't, what else?
Thyroid.
What is that?
Thyroid.
Yeah, thyroid,
People have real cold.
Yeah, cold extremities, you're cold all the time, or you're hot all the time, right? We have had those hot flashes before. What's some other, low libido? You don't want to, lack of confidence. You feel like a hermit. You want to, crawl in a hole and just hide. You don't want to, be out socially. You don't want to come here. That's, all, lack of focus. That's another side effect of hormones. Lack of motivation, lack of follow through, lack of discipline. A lot of it is to do, all of those things are to do with your hormones. Also, your hormones really control the metabolic processes in your body. So they are actually really responsible for making you fat and keeping you fat if they're out of balance. They can also turn the tide. I don't know if any of you have ever known anyone that has problems gaining weight. They cannot gain any weight, and it's a real problem for them. And a lot of times you'll see that with elderly people. They just wither away. And then they have all kinds of problems because of that. So all of those, I would say, are hormone-induced failure problems. And so what we want to do, it would be try to eliminate them, right? There's many different strategies that you can use to eliminate them. So why doesn't everybody in the world come to Dr. Tammy and get their hormones checked and go after a youthful hormone level? Why doesn't everybody do that?
It's expensive.
Money. Yeah, definitely. Money.
No.
Yeah, lack of education, definitely.
They depend on pharmaceutical drugs.
Yes. And that's partly lack of education, lack of direction, lack of just, it takes a lot of work. Doesn't it take a lot of work? Even if you get the prescription, you got to fill the prescription, and then you got to put it on every day, right? Or take it every day, or whatever you need to do. So there's a lot of obstacles that we find in keeping people from actually following through with doing hormone therapies and hormone balancing. So one of the big things is the testing. A lot of doctors do not test in the proper test. So thankfully, I'm kind of assuming, are you guys all on maybe a few weeks into this program? Like week 5? Is it week 5? Okay, so have all of you been tested so far? Okay, hormone levels, have you had food allergies? Okay, good. Yeah, so you all know and you have proper tests, but a lot of people, up until this point, have you ever been tested before? No. And I've been tested. I made myself get tested a few years ago, and because I knew. But I'm going to be 39 on Saturday. But that's a long time to go without really knowing. Not that if you don't have any problems, of course you don't really think you need to be tested. So I really applaud you guys for actually going after it and getting tested and know your numbers. And so when you talk to your friends and relatives, they're like, What are you doing? What tests? What are you talking about? Are they curious, or are they like, man, you're just crazy, you're wasting your money? Which one? Some of both? Well, it's not a waste of money. Don't listen to that, because it is worth it. I cannot tell you how awesome it feels to be buff and feel great about yourself, go shopping and be able to get whatever clothes you want and slap them on and they look great. It is the best feeling in the world. It's worth all the effort, it's worth all the hard work. And if I could just plant that into your brain, you'd have motivation and all day long. You'd be running up and down this hallway right now probably. So really it's definitely worth it. It's worth the money. It will prevent those medical bills in the future. How much does it cost if you have a heart attack? Okay, so how much does this program cost? Nothing anywhere close to that. How much does it cost? Prevention is way cheaper than the flip side. So, and it'll be way less heartache, way less hard on your kids if you take care of yourself, all of that. So, a couple of the other issues that I've seen and heard about, and that I think I'm supposed to talk about tonight, are just not just lack of knowledge or lack of money or lack of expertise, by having good guidance. The other is scare tactics by big money companies. You cannot patent bioidentical hormones. What you can patent are medicines and synthetic hormones and quacky type nutrition products. You can run some crazy marketing scheme to get you to buy this infomercial product that really doesn't do anything and is full of a bunch of garbage. So it's a lot of media coming at you, and the lot of the studies that you see done by pharmaceutical companies, they're the ones funding those tests. You can put grab a group of people and manipulate the data however you want to come out with the result that you want. Not always, but a lot of times they'll pull certain information from the study and just say, oh, well, here's the summary of the study, where really it doesn't even make any sense that study proved anything. It really didn't prove anything. It just didn't not prove anything that on the opposite side. So really, you got to look at the research. Even reputable news organizations, I see it time and time again. This cures that, and because of this study, you get that actual study and read it, and you're like, sometimes you're like, what? It doesn't even make any sense, So definitely, be aware of the information that's coming in. Don't just take, definitely don't listen to advertisements on TV without, researching into them and going, okay, is this for real or not? And then also, just think about, where's the money coming from? Is the money coming from somebody that truly wants to help people, or is it coming from maybe big corporations that are making a lot of money on keeping people on these medicines or keeping people sick because their business is treating people that are sick, or they want you to have diabetes because they make money if you have diabetes. So there's a lot of things like that. So basically, let's talk a little bit about hormones. So this graphic here shows the different places that your hormones are made. Okay, we have hormones that are made up in our brain and the hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal gland. A lot of those aren't what we're mainly focusing on tonight. Tonight we're going to focus mostly on like the sex hormones, estrogen, testosterone, and some of the derivatives of those. But we also have the thyroid, and most of us know about the thyroid because so many people have thyroid issues. And because of a lot of it, in my theory, a lot of the thyroid issues is caused by nutritional issues, which also lead to the thyroid not producing properly. And also, you need to make sure that you're getting, I forgot what I was going to say about the thyroid. The thyroid is definitely one of the largest problems that we have, but a lot of it is to do with the side effects of other hormones not being made properly, especially adrenal systems. A lot of us have adrenal fatigue, and if you have adrenal fatigue, it shuts down all of your other hormones basically. So, if we look at it as a whole and not just as the thyroid, you're going to find that as you start treating others, as you start working out, as you start eating properly, you're going to find that starts to dissipate. And as you lose weight, you're going to, just like everything is interconnected. So then we also have the parathyroid next to the thyroid, and then the thymus and the adrenals. Now that was what I was talking about. The adrenal glands are amazing. They are a fight or flight. Like when you get in a scary situation, all of a sudden you just have all this energy. That's what they're for. Adrenal glands really help to stimulate all the hormones. They can stimulate any hormone in your body. And they do secrete your sex hormones, so testosterone and estrogen and progesterone, they do that. Now, if you have adrenal fatigue, basically they shut down, and they shut down a lot of the other hormones in your system. So, oopsie, I do.
Shut down.
Yeah, it shut down. It shut down all of it. So really, they are located right above your kidneys, and you wouldn't even know they're there. But the ways that you will tell that you have adrenal fatigue is just you just have lethargy. You're just really tired. You like say you drink a cup of coffee and it like doesn't even affect you whatsoever. You just drink like a pot of coffee and you still don't, and you still feel like you're gonna fall asleep. That's one of the things. Also, if you have extended periods of high stress, say for instance, if you have a loved one that is like in critical condition, a very high stressful situation, going through a divorce, working like 3 jobs at a time, and just crazy. For myself, I know I went through a period of adrenal fatigue simply because I had way too many kids, too fast, too much going on, worked like crazy. I was doing a million things all at once, and then all of a sudden I just could not wake up. And then plus I had been using like caffeine as a drug. So I had to go through a period of time to where I just cut out all caffeine, just basically slept as long as I possibly could, and that sucks. You don't want to have adrenal fatigue. But once the adrenal fatigue clears up, then everything else starts working again and in harmony and in proper order and everything. So, and then we also have hormones that are produced in your kidney and pancreas and your ovaries and testes. So the main thing I'm showing you here is hormones are produced all over. And there's not just your sex hormones, there's like 50 different hormones in your body, and they do all sorts of different things. Basically, every single function in your body is regulated by hormones. Remember, they're the regulators of your body. They help create, your body says, oh, I need some beautiful new skin cells. Hormones help you make your skin cells. That's why women that have low estrogen, as you get older, your skin starts, maybe looking a little dull, not as plump and firm as it was when you were, say, 35. So, we just keep on wanting to get you back to where you're at optimal levels. That's our goal here, is to get you to optimal levels. But the big thing is, that I want to point out here is that many women have, after they have they go through menopause, or if they have a hysterectomy, they like to tell me, I don't have hormones anymore, so how do I do your hormonal timing training program? I'm like, you do have hormones. You still have hormones. If you actually have healthy adrenal glands, if you have a healthy body, if you're eating correctly, you still have hormones, and you still do cycle with your hormones, believe it or not. So you know that as you go along, every single day of your life is a little different, especially with females. Okay, you have a cycle your whole life. It doesn't end at menopause. You don't have the menses, but you still have a cycle. So keep that in mind, that every day is not going to be the same. So I encourage every single woman, and even men, to do this, because men actually kind of do cycle up and down in association with their women. The main dominant woman in your life will affect your mood, will affect your hormones, will affect your estrogen levels. And if you notice, like a lot, I noticed this. Okay, I have 3 girls, 1 boy, a husband, and everybody is crazy hormonal when I'm crazy hormonal. Okay, so that's when we have fights. That's when my husband and I get in fights. That's when he's down. That's when nobody wants to do anything. Everybody's fighting. So just if you just in the back of your mind, pay attention to that, because I swear it is 100% true, and it is very important to realize that, because once you realize, oh, it's just my hormones making me feel this way, then you can overcome it. If you don't know you're fighting anything, you can't win the battle, right? You have to know who your enemy is. And not that it's always bad, but just it's the fact of life. We're not always in hormonal balance, and especially women, we go up and down. And there's no way, I don't think there's any way in the world that you can 100% every single day of your life be in hormonal balance, because there's so many, every day is different stress levels, in our body. If you don't have the right macronutrient, you're not going to produce your hormones correctly. So, 1 month you might have all the nutrients you need, and the next month you might not. So you have every month is different, and then especially when you're starting to implement hormone balancing, like using some creams and testosterone and estrogens and things like that, your body takes a little bit of time to adjust to those items. And so you're going to be like, I'm crazy. Like, you're not crazy. It's okay. Just hold on. Give it a couple weeks. Give it a couple months, actually. And then things may regulate, and your body, you'll be like, oh, I'm so glad I made it through that, or whatever. So that might be some of what you're going through right now. So, now, another key point that we need to make today, and this is not the right PowerPoint, just 1 second here. Does anybody know how to use a PC? Where did all my documents go? Sorry, what was that? Okay. This is a picture of your cell. Okay, every hormone in your body works pretty much exactly the same way. They just do different things. So this little thing right here, that's your hormone. Okay, and it says it's a steroid hormone. So steroid hormone basically refers to more so like a sex hormone. Say, for instance, that's testosterone. We'll just call it testosterone. So this is testosterone, but it could be any hormone. And it goes into your cells. So you know how cells are, they're all this little blob, and there's a nucleus in the middle. Every single cell in your body is basically similar. So it goes into the cell, so it crosses the membrane, and it hooks onto this receptor protein. And then it travels into the nucleus, and then it interacts with your DNA. So hormones affect your DNA. Isn't that neat? And then it spits it out, comes out, and creates a protein. And that protein tells your body what it wants to do. Like I said, like for instance, make a new skin cell, or whatever, or make you happy, give you a release of a sexy feeling or something like that. So there's all kind. It does everything. Like everything, it's all regulated by it. So every single hormone works like this. So there's other hormones like insulin, thyroid, serotonin. There's all like 50 different ones, and they all do different things, but they basically regulate everything in your body. So if you need new bones built, that's why hormones affect your bones and can cause osteoporosis if you don't have good hormonal levels. So that's just the basics of how it works. So you know that all of it goes into your cells. Now, I have a lot of clients that get very impatient about wanting to have results after one workout. And in the mirror, did I change? Like you can't see the change, but when you work out, even just one time, there is change. The change is in yourself. It changes the way your cell metabolizes waste. It changes the way these hormone receptors work. It helps them work better. It is amazing. So if you think, okay, I don't see any change in the mirror, remember, you're changing yourself on the cellular level. It'll take time for those little cells to change enough so that you can actually see it. But you will see it, I promise. So that's how they work. And so we went over. Okay. So as we were talking about, let's talk about just a couple more things with hormones. I've been talking about optimal youthful healthy hormone levels. Okay, so we're talking about, basically think about 25 years old. I don't think any of us are 25 in here. How is anybody in their 20s? Yeah, I thought maybe one. I was like, oh, that girl looks young. So 30s. Okay, several ladies in their 30s, 40s. Okay, and we won't even ask. Okay. So let me categorize just at we're going to say 3 different categories. We're going to say 25, we're going to say 45, we're going to say 65. Okay, so in your mind, when you think about a 25-year-old, what do you think of? Pretty good-looking guy, muscles and nice skin, nice hair, nice teeth, no wrinkles, and then you go, okay, what about a 45-year-old guy? Do they look like, they look pretty good still, right? They're classy and business attire. They're making in this world. They get on their plane in a suit, and you're like, ooh, that guy looks pretty good, right? Okay, so that's 45. Well, we can do the same thing with women, of course, but most of us are women in here. So we'll just talk about it from my perspective. And then we have 65. Now, you know what? There's a few good-looking 65-year-olds, but what's the biggest difference between a 65-year-old man and a 25-year-old man? What would you say the number one thing between that would be different?